Alright, let's get right into it. Nebraska Purdue preview video. A lot to uncover here. A lot meaning a lot on the Nebraska side. I've got more Nebraska notes right now than I do Purdue because there's so much to uncover about this team. They're currently 21-2 in the Big Ten, and they are a well-oiled machine offensively and defensively. A lot of good comes from this team. They recently have lost to Illinois, I believe. They also it's not a losing streak because they just won against Rutgers, but they had previously lost their last two beforehand, losing 75-72 to Michigan, and then obviously their loss to Illinois 78-69. I guess let's just jump right into it. Nebraska is 11th on KenPom, which, I mean, if you watch them play, they've got a few standout defenders, and then everybody else just knows how to do their job. They force long possessions. Each possession, or per game, they average 18.4 seconds per possession. So out of a 24-second shot clock, they average 18.4 seconds of that shot clock being taken on defense. That's pretty crazy. That's a crazy amount of pressure put on the ball, and we have seen Purdue not play well against pressure like that, and this defense is going to, in my opinion, in this next stretch of the rest of the season, this is our hardest game to play, especially with it being at Pinnacle Bank, on Nebraska's home turf. This is going to be our biggest challenge, and it's going to say a lot about this team on how we respond. But yeah, they average 18.4 seconds per possession. They force turnovers on 19% of the possessions they play defense on. Purdue has been a offensive rebounding team, except for late, and Nebraska really limits that as a team. They're a team that they go up and get defensive rebounds at a high rate, don't allow teams to come down with second chance possessions, and so that means a lot for Purdue. I mean, they gotta capitalize on open looks and take advantage of looks that we get, because we're likely not going to get a second chance if we miss the first shot. So we have to take good shots and not be picky either because of their level of defense that Nebraska plays. It is very hard to get in the paint against this Nebraska team. First of all, they deny the entry, and when it does get entered, it is typically a double team, and either forced turnover, forced jump ball, whatever it is. But teams score in the paint at a very low level against this team. What do I have here? They are also, as much as they are good on defense in the paint and from the 2-point area in general, as in dribble pull-ups, which is Braden's go-to shot. They force a lot of threes, but on that, when you look at teams, hey, they force a lot of threes. Okay, well then they give up a lot of points, right? No, because yes, they force the three majority against teams, but they also have what is it here? But they hold teams to 32.2% from beyond the arc. So not only are they forcing you to take threes, but they are contesting you on. Do I have the percentage right down here? Hold teams. Okay, I don't have the percentage, but they. Oh wait. Force threes, but contested. They are top 12 in contested three-pointers. So not only are they forcing you to take threes and not allowing you to score in the paint, but they're also contesting you at a very high rate on those three-point attempts. So teams don't get open looks against Nebraska. just because overall they're just defenders. Um, but yeah, they force you to take outside shots, and for Purdue, we have recently struggled on that. Um, Last game, Lawyer had a good game, but you take away Jakari, Omer, CJ, all those guys, even Braden, none of them shot well from behind the arc. I believe we shot it a very low percentage. I don't have it pulled up right now, but we shot a very low percentage in that game, and if we can't make open shots, if we can't make shots, we're not going to win this game. Obviously, the person who puts the ball in the basket more wins the game, but they force you to tough shots or outside shots, and if we can't make open looks and just make the right play on the look that we are given, um, it could very much be a blowout in this game. Excuse me. They're very smart defenders, and they beat on offense. They how do you say that? They are very well they run sets. If you watch Purdue is a very set heavy team where a lot of plays are being ran. There isn't as many possessions as somebody just goes and gets a bucket. Obviously, outside of Braden, but they are a set heavy team where they go and run sets. But in that, they have a lot of guys that will play off ball. There's a lot of off ball actions of down screens, pin downs, back cuts. So not only are they a good offensive team, as in just their percentage from behind the arc and their ability to score efficiently, they do it because when you stop one thing, they do another. They read and react of setting screens off ball for each other, pin downs, walk your guy up, backdoor cuts behind baseline. Just a lot of good basketball players of just making the right play, not making it too complicated. And, we have struggled defensively. And if we continue to guard the way we have in the last few games, it's not going to matter. This team is going to run all over us, and it's not going to look pretty. This has to be a game where Purdue comes in and makes a statement, and I don't think it's a team that we can just roll over, but it's a team that we have to go in and give it our best effort, and everybody's got to be playing, collectively well and play as a team. Our bench is going to mean a lot in this game of making open shots because Braden and Lawyer can't be the only one making open threes because they are going to force us to shoot threes. So TKR and Clough and Jacobson are likely going to not get as many touches or not going to be able to get as many shots off. So, Braden and Fletcher can't just hit every single shot. They can't be the ones that only are taking shots. So our bench has to step up, as in CJ, Omer, Jakari, Benner. Those guys have to, one, take open shots, not be too picky on shots that they're given, be confident, when they catch the ball, and ultimately just knock it down because they're going to force us to shoot threes, and we have to be able to make it. And we have been a team that can knock down threes at a high level. Recently, we haven't been, and we've got to get back to that level. But for Nebraska, also offensively, they also shoot the three a lot. They shoot lots of threes, but they shoot it at a high clip. They shoot at 41.4% as a team, which is 10th in the country. And not only do they get good looks from three, but they're also just as efficient in the paint, or 2-point percentage just in general. They shoot that at 59.4%, so just shy of 60%, which is a high percentage for a team, which that is 15th in the country. And a lot of it, like I said, comes off back doors, a lot of assists. They run a similar action of, where we give the ball to Daniel or Trey off of a screen. It's a dribble handoff, or it's something like that. But their big Reek Mask, wears number 51, he also can make a lot of reads off of that. We don't often see Trey or any of our bigs fake the handoff, turn around, drive to the basket, right? Reek Mask is a very well put together player. He just reads the play well, whether he's going to give it off or if he's going to fake it, turn around, and go score. So they also do a good job of just not forcing it. They are not a high turnover team. They average 8.9 turnovers per game. So they don't make very many mistakes, and like I said, with their cuts and stuff, they make right reads as a basketball player on off ball possessions, not forcing passes or plays, not much standing at all from the team. Very high go energy type team. They get a lot of assists because of that pin down actions and the cuts, because they don't stand. They're just always moving. And what else do I have here comparing? I said that they get a lot of assists because of those cuts and stuff. Because they don't have anybody that really, Braden will time to time, take his defender one-on-one, go get a pull-up jumper, or make a play, individual basket, not coming off of like a pass or a individual play. They don't have somebody that really goes out and does that very much. They're not an ISO type team, or they don't have anybody on that team similar to like Illinois to Wagler, where he will go out and just get a bucket. They don't really have anybody that goes and does that because they play so much as a team of off those ball screens and off ball cuts. I'll dive into their roster. They've got Price Sanford. I think I said that right. Price, Sanford. Averages 17.1 points, 4.6 rebounds, 2 assists per game, and 1.1 steals. He's a 6'7", 210 junior. I believe he plays there 2 or 3. And he is their guy. Like I said, he averages 17.1%. He's a flamethrower from behind the arc. He shoots 40.6% from the arc and 48% coming off of screens and moving 3-point shots, which is an insane stat. I went back and watched the Illinois game because I wasn't able to watch that live. And as soon as he comes off the screen, you have to guard him. You cannot leave his side. I think that's a matchup that, I'm going to say you put CJ on him, because you got to lock him down. You have to be on his hip at 24/7 because he is capable to shoot the ball from anywhere. He likes to shoot it moving. He shoots it at a higher percentage when he's moving compared to when he's catch and shoot. But this team as a whole shoots the ball well. We cannot have defensive lapses like we have been and giving up open threes. We have to, our defensive communication has to be there, or again, this game is just going to get out of control fast and get real ugly. Similar to things that we did not do against like Wilkerson, Wagler, players to that caliber, is we didn't stick to them, and then they got wide open shots. I know Wilkerson didn't necessarily, connect on some of those attempts, but we just can't give him those looks because he is going to knock them down. And that applies to a lot of these players, but especially him for the moving part of it. A lot of these other players want to shoot it on the catch, but they shoot it at a high clip as well. We can't give him any open looks, coming off screens in general. We do see that Purdue often will high hedge it with the big. I don't think we do that here. I think you play drop coverage, but you have to be in a position where your guard is fighting over, because we can't give him any open looks. And then arguably their best player, I know Price is their their leading scorer, but like I mentioned earlier, Reek Mask is a 6'10", 250-pound senior. He wears number 51. He is does a little bit of everything for this team. Averages 14.7 points, 6.6 rebounds, 3 assists, and also can pick and pop. Shoots at 32.4% on 5 attempts per game. So he's not afraid to shoot it. Yeah, that is a lower end percentage, but he can make it. I think on him it might be one of those situations where you've got to play off a little bit and dare him to shoot it, not giving him wide open shots, but you are playing off of him a little bit because he is a facilitator as well. Arguably, even though he's 6'10", arguably the team's best passer. He hits a lot of guys on rolls and cuts, and just somebody that makes the right play. Oftentimes he's setting up their offense as well. I know he's their big, but kind of plays a point big at times. Handles the ball. He's not an awesome defender, but he's good enough at his job because, like I said, this team has some really good defenders, which one of them being Sam Hoiberg, which is Coach's son, which he is somebody that is fast, twitchy, will get up in you, high momentum, all that stuff. Reek is a defender that he's not overly athletic or anything. Nothing that makes him a good defender in that way. He's just in the right spot. So he's not an overly great defender, but he just knows where to be in his rotations. So he affects plays because he's just in the right spot. And then going into Sam Hoiberg, he's a 6-foot senior, or I'm not sure what class he is. He's a 6-foot guard, Coach's son. The past few years he was kind of just an energy guy. Just came in to, ramp up the team a little bit. That's not the case this year. Not overly used on offense, but arguably one of the more important, roles to this team, and very likely just to get onto a Big Ten team, or all-conference team at the end of the season. If not on one of the teams, then likely on a defensive team. He averages 9.5 points, 5.3 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 2 steals per game. Like I said, he is a very good defender because he's very much in you, very much pressured. Just somebody that when you watch, he goes out and gives it everything every single night. Goes out and plays hard. Like I said, he's not much of an offensive usage type guy, meaning he's not getting plays ran for him. He's kind of on offense, takes open shots, swing the ball when not. But he is a 41.4% three-point shooter. It is only on 2.5 attempts per game, and a lot of them are, wide open shots. He's not really creating for himself. It's other people rotating, and he's open. He just knocks it down. He really good perimeter defender, all-out effort player. He can be an effect on Braden. Force Braden to make some bad passes, and I think that's something that he's got to contain. He's got to just not allow to get sped up and to continue to just make the right play, low turnovers. But he's very much a player that can affect Braden and just can affect the perimeter in general. Their next starter is Jamarquise Lawrence. I believe that's how you say it. 6'3", 180-pound senior. He wears number 10. Averages 10.8 points, 2.4 rebounds, 3.8 assists. Also shoots at 38.9% on 4.7 attempts per game. So he gets a good amount of attempts in a game, and he's a knockdown shooter. More known for a shooter than he is a defender or facilitator. I know he averages 3.8 assists, but he kind of just makes the right play. He is more of a shooter of catch and shoot compared to Price as he comes off the screens. He does like the dribble pull up though as well. Just a very much a guy that makes the right play in the right spots, which is pretty much how you describe this whole team. Yeah, plays point guard kind of. Not necessarily. Sam is the one that initiates their offense majority of the time. Lawrence can play point guard. He also is very well off ball. Like I said, he's a good catch and shoot shooter, ready to shoot whenever, and can make it at on deep shots as well. This next, their next starter is I don't even know how to pronounce his name. It's Berke Tunsil. I definitely butchered that. More of just a role player. He's a 6'10", 240-pound junior. Wears number 9. Kind of an awkward-looking guy out there. I believe he's left-handed. But does his job and does his job well. 7 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 2.1 assists, and averages a block per game. Not a good shooter, right? Shoots at 24.4%. So he's definitely their biggest downfall in their starters when it comes to shooting. But somebody that does his job, knows what his role is and does his job well. 46% from the field, not overly efficient, but again, does his job. He's a good rebounder, solid rim protector. He's the only one on the team that averages over a block, or a block in general. Reek isn't much of a shot blocker, but Berke is if he's not getting a block, he is very physical and just does a good job of altering shots or making you affects your shot. They're not a very deep team when it comes to their bench. They play 2 to 3 guys off the bench, but the last 3 games, I think it's Jared Garcia. He hasn't got in the last 3 games. But their number 1 guy off the bench is Braden Frager, 6'7", 250-pound freshman. He's a good player. Averages 12.2 points, 3.7 rebounds, 0.9 assists. So when it gets to him, it's likely a shot. But he shoots it 51% from the field and 37% 3-point on 4.8 attempts. He is a freshman and he looks good, right? 74% from 2 this year. So, 12.2 off the bench is a lot for any team, and he definitely does his job. A lot of just good spacing as well. This team just knows how to move and not be stagnant. Their next guy off the bench is Cale Jacobson, where he's 6'4", 195 pounds, wears number 31, 4.4 rebounds, 4.4 points, 2.9 rebounds, 1.6 assists, does 1.1 steal. He's more of an energy and cutting type guy. You kind of could compare him to Hoiberg the previous year, but I think he had a pretty good game against Illinois. I know he had a block or 2. Just does his job, goes in and high volume of energy and getting up in people. A solid defender, actually a really good defender as well. And just a lot of guys on this team that know how to do their job and know what their job is. And a lot of guys that just go out and play hard every single night and act like something, like this game means something to them. And I think that's something that we have lacked in as a Purdue team, and that's not something that, as a Purdue fan base, that's not what our culture is built around. And so seeing that to lack is, very surprising, but I'm hoping that gets turned around. Onto a little bit more of the Purdue side of it. I think I kind of hit on it already, but our role players just have to come ready. Jakari did not look good in the last game, missed wide open shots against Oregon. But like I said, they force you to shoot threes, and there's not much you can do to change the shots that a team's going to give you. And so we just have to be ready to take those shots. And I think there's plenty of times where I know I've seen some podcasts of Braden talking, or PJ was talking about Braden. If Braden passes it to you, you better be ready to shoot it. You better be confident. Better be ready to shoot it. You've seen in games when when teammates don't shoot the ball, Braden gets frustrated, because, and especially in a game like this, we're not gonna get, awesome open looks very often. So when we get an open look, these guys have to be ready to take it, and they have to be confident in their shot. And this is a game like Venter. It's a game that he could have a really good game if he shoots it confidently, doesn't hesitate, because we are going to get a lot of 3-point attempts. And this is a team that we can shoot at a high level from behind the arc, but we haven't done it as of recently, and that's got to be something that changes. And this environment isn't going to be something that's just easy to do that against, but not something that's impossible. But if we come out firing, we can't. Well, first of all, we can't come out stagnant. We can't have a slow start. If we have a slow start, I doubt that we get back into it, because that team, Nebraska, is just so good offensively and defensively that if we have a slow start, it's likely to be over from the beginning. We cannot start stagnant offensively or defensively. Yeah, a lot of it comes down to confidence on our role players and just everybody in general on being able to take that open shot. Like I said, they really pinch the paint. So Clough, TKR, Jacobson, their inside touches are likely going to be limited. We're likely not going to get as many attempts as maybe we're used to, which could be a disadvantage. I know recently, we haven't scored much in the paint with Clough not playing well. Most of our production in the paint has been TKR and Jacobson, and a lot of more perimeter play on our part, and that's probably something that's going to have to, it's probably going to be more perimeter play again because they force threes. So I'd be surprised to see a lot of points from TKR, but this is a game where he could really prove himself as a rebounder, and this is a game that Clough has to show up as a rebounder, because we have to get as many chances as we can, and stop them from having offensive rebounds and extra possessions. So we have got to bring down every miss and fight for rebounds offensively as well. But yeah, this is a game where I would love to see Clough come back alive, especially against Reek and Berke. He could definitely prove that he belongs, especially because of recently, you could argue that he doesn't. Obviously, it has been a big struggle for us defensively, and a lot of it looks like it's communication and just wrong positioning. And if we have any of that type of lapses, Nebraska's going to take advantage of it, and they're going to steamroll us. Communication has got to be on point. Any flaws will end in a score for them. And if you watch other games, when teams have a defensive lapse, they make the right play, and it ends in a basket. And if we don't come out ready to guard, I think it's more important for us to come out with a good game plan defensively and be able to execute on that than it is to have a crazy offensive scheme, right? So it's very important for us to come out ready to communicate and ready to be in the right spots on our rotations. And another key is that we can't turn it over. I mean, Oregon game, we turned it over 14 times. Yeah, that's not like us. I think we average 9 turnovers a game, so it's not something that happens often. But they are a team that will get up in you, and they like to force turnovers, and we just can't fold under pressure. We can't fold under their defensive effect, and we have to make the right play and just not force things. Yeah. Yeah, don't turn it over. Make open looks. They force long possessions, so stay patient. You know, they're gonna force us to make a read towards the end of the shot clock, but that means that when we get an open look, we have to take it. We can't try to, um, you know, this shot's not good enough. If you have space, you've got to take that shot. You have got to be ready, especially for our guys on the perimeter. Um, and and down low when we do get a look, like Clough had a few times where he missed some baby hooks, um, pretty well unguarded. That those have to be makes. There cannot be any lapses when the ball gets inside because it's the the percentage of times that it can get inside are very few and far between. So when it gets inside, it has to capitalize and has to end in a score. Um, what else do I have here? A lot of it has to do. I said don't turn it over. Smart passes, right? We watched the Oregon game and we had a few just. Braden had 6 turnovers, and in my opinion, a lot of them were just dumb passes or dumb turnovers forced. If any of that happens, it's going to end in a steal. There is not going to be any 50-50 ball is likely going to be theirs, or a 50-50 pass is likely to be theirs because of the way that they play defensively. So if we are sloppy at any point or just lax on offense on our passes, it's going to end in a steal, and then that likely turns into a score for them. The biggest thing with this is don't run away from adversity. Like I said, in my opinion, they are our biggest matchup in our last stretch of the season. It is very hard to go into Pinnacle and play well as of late. These last few years, it has been a very hard arena to play in, and not only that, but now that they have a very good put together team, it makes it just as much harder, right? So we have to hit this head on. We can't go in like we did the Indiana game, which is a rivalry game, and come in flat and not act like it means something. We have to come in with a fire lit under us and play to our absolute best ability and play with some heart and some fire from every single person on that court. And it can't just be Braden Diamond on the court. And, credit to Benner, he's been taking charges, but it's got to be from everybody. Anytime a play happens, got to be in the right spot, got to be lit up, play with some fire, play with some passion, do your job, be in the right spot. If we win this game, our season kind of takes a turn, right? A lot of people are writing us off because of our losing spree and the way that we played against Oregon. People are writing us off, thinking we can't make a run in March and stuff like that. We have got to continue to play hard, or not continue because we haven't been. We have got to start playing hard and hit this head on. And if we come out with a win, again, it switches the way people can talk about us. They can't say, oh, well, they don't have a chance anymore. If we win this game, it proves a lot as our team. We have got to hit adversity head on. Shut up the outside noise. Stop, right? I've seen some things saying that, Fletcher, Braden, TKR, when they came in, they've been supposed to be the number one team every single year of their college career, right? That takes a toll on you, right? That affects the way you play mentally. That's a lot of pressure. Shut up the outside noise of saying we can't do it anymore. Shut them out and prove who the Boilermakers are and the level of basketball that we're able to play, and go out there, punch them in the mouth, and have a good game. And it starts with our leaders. It starts with Lawyer. It starts with Braden going out there playing with confidence and showing heart and showing what being a Boilermaker is. And I'm excited for this game. Slightly nervous because I know how good this Nebraska team is, but I think it can be a really good game depending on which Purdue team shows up. If the Purdue team, that played Texas Tech and some of those teams earlier on in the season shows up, I like my odds. But if the Purdue team that, UCLA and Indiana, games like that shows up, we're gonna get steamrolled. So I'm hoping they come out with a fire lit under them and play a hard fought game. And not only does it start with our stars, but our bench has to come ready to play and ready to hit open shots. So I'm excited to watch this game. It's gonna be a tough matchup, but I think it's something that is doable. Again, I'm not somebody that's gonna give up on this team. I know the potential in this team, and I'm ride or die. So boiler up. Let's get ready for this game on Tuesday, and stay tuned for the recap. And I truly hope that it's on the. I have good notes to take from it. I mean, even if we don't come out with the win, there are things that I can take away that can be good, and I hope there's a lot more good to be said than there is bad. So thanks for tuning in, and be ready for the recap.